Welcome to the Vault Excel. This is live number two. This content and commentary is pertaining to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. News Nation is the source.
In our coverage with News Nation's Brian Hinton live from Tucson, who broke this story about the FBI with 40 pictures around gun stores. Brian, any idea who these 40 pictures are of or how the FBI arrived on these names?
No, it's a good question, Leland. We do not know the names, but we know that they showed up to several gun stores in Tucson with a list of 40 names, and they also had 40 pictures to go along with things, so they know who the people are, and that they asked employees of the gun stores whether they recognize any of the names or pictures, if they had been in the store recently, or if they had bought a record. So that is new. It seems like they're narrowing the field there. Also new, Leland, we are waiting on confirmation that DNA has been entered into the CODIS database. DNA from a glove that was found 2 miles from where I'm standing outside Nancy Guthrie's house. And this is significant, and it could happen at any moment. As our last check-in with sources, it has not been entered into the CODIS database. But when it is, it could perhaps generate a match with someone else who's already in this federal database. Another, when criminals are arrested, their DNA is entered into this database. And Libby Dean, our White House correspondent, is reporting, which this is also new, that there are now unnecessary delays. This goes back to what you were talking about with the sheriff.
Hey, Vicky.
The FBI tonight, according to Libby's sources, are saying that there are unnecessary delays because the sheriff decided to send that DNA to a lab in Florida. So it's in Florida. It has to come back to Arizona before it can be officially entered into the CODIS database. And Libby's sources are saying if he had just listened to the FBI and sent it to Quantico to be analyzed, they could have entered it into the database immediately. So they are alleging that is causing additional delays in the investigation. Leland?
All right, there's so much to go through, Brian. Stay with us through this as you have every night. We're going to bring in Bob Keeger, formerly of the Pima County Sheriff's Office, Tracy Walder as well. Bob, I want to start with you because so much of this investigation seems to come back to missteps by this sheriff, a sheriff you know well. We've had some of them in addition to this sending the DNA evidence to a private lab rather than the FBI. Delayed FBI assistance, crime scene released quickly, missed the roof camera, delayed thermal imaging claim, no grid search, unaware of the Guthrie family video when it was released, blocked the FBI from certain evidence, no clear leader of the investigation. The sheriff has had to make backtracking statements. You could say wrongly detaining the man, but oftentimes people are detained for questioning. So that maybe tie those to the run. But beyond that, how do we look at this as just normal folks and say it's anything other than the sheriff really profoundly messing things up?
Well, what I'd like to start to say with is that the folks on the ground, I'm certain that they are working their tails off.
No
what they can with the information that they've got, working hard. A lot of the things that you spoke of, Leland, there can be some reasonable explanation to a few of those. But usually where there's some smoke, there's some fire. There are absolutely times to release information during
Hey, Princess.
investigation, and there are
I
times
did.
not to release.
Hope you had a great
So
day
I
as
know
well.
that
Thank
everybody
you.
wants every bit of information. But
yeah, I mean, do you know the sheriff though? Is this sort of par for the course? Is he sort of a
He ain't gonna answer that.
boy who kind of doesn't know what he's doing and shoots from the hip and is more interested in being on TV and protecting his turf, or is he just not know better? What's going on?
I would say this is fairly par for the course. This is not a surprise to me that a lot of these things have happened. There have been issues in the past working with federal agencies. He can be emotional at times, but he typically has the best interest of the investigation at heart. Unfortunately, what investigations like this need is leadership, solid command and control, working well with your partners, especially the FBI. Having those resources at your disposal, they should have constant communication. And most of these things should not happen.
Okay.
Yeah, no question there. There's a lot to bounce back and forth here. And I think, Bob, I'm just going to stay with you for one more second. One of the things that came out today was the sheriff clearing, and I'll read this, the Guthrie family. To be clear, the Guthrie family to include all siblings and spouses has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious, and our victims in this case to suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel.
Thank you for watching.
All righty. He had the one lady on there, the ex-FBI agent. She didn't get to say anything. The blonde-haired lady. Let's chop up what was said. News Nation just uploaded this content an hour ago. Unnecessary delays in getting DNA into the FBI database. So let's start with the 40 pictures. 40 photographs and names were taken to Tucson gun shops to see if these people had purchased a weapon. Brian Eaton asked the question, where did the people's names come from? Obviously, they came from possibly the geofencing. Anyone that's probably been to her home visiting through deliveries, Uber, Lyft. And what else? Sorry, I had to stall there for a minute. I say geofencing. People names that came up through the geofencing. Phones pinging in the area. They got their photographs, their names. They're going into these shops to see what they bought. I won't doubt also they've taken the same names to go to Walmart and also vice versa. Walmart's giving them a list of people, men, who have purchased gun holder and the backpack because they're now saying that the backpack is a Walmart brand and also the holder that holds the weapon, it's from Walmart. So perhaps they've gone to Walmart to certain stores in the area, Tucson, and asked how many of these items have been sold. So they pulled up the credit card, cash, whatever, receipts, matched it on the camera, and perhaps they were males. And so they took their government name if they used a credit card and or debit card. So I believe it's both geofencing. Walmart gave information to who bought the holster and the backpack, similar clothes, jacket, pants, shoes, and there you have it. Unnecessary delays. Kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. This Libby female, who is a Washington correspondent, has given information to the public that there's a holdup with this DNA process down in Florida. This is the very reason why the FBI wanted to process DNA from this case themselves because they have special resources. They have more resources and special tools that they can use to process the DNA. Because the lab down in Florida can only do so many things. They don't have tool markers from my understanding. So let's say they process some of the DNA, but then there's something else that they need. It then still has to go somewhere else for that special type of DNA testing. So that was the whole purpose of why the FBI wanted the DNA process in Quantico, so it could be done all together. Anything extra specialty, FBI has the resources, it's cut dry. Put in their database, done. As my mama used to say, kill two birds with one stone. But no, we've got this fella here who says, well, I've been dealing with these people, got a good rapport with them, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is a special case, and it's not to say that this woman's, that Nancy's any better than anybody else that's missing, hurt, kidnapped, but it is what it is. It is a national story at this moment. There are many people on the ground trying to solve this case. So it would make sense to have taken the information DNA, whatever was found inside, outside the home, cars, whatsoever, should have been sent to Quantico and been done because then it could have been put into the federal database. That can't happen down in Florida. It has to be sent back to Arizona and then go to the next step. As you heard this gentleman say, mistakes can happen, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Basically saying this is too many incidents. When you start counting them up, the list is getting long. You're almost at 10. The sheriff is allegedly emotional. Well, you know what? Maybe this type of crime is not for you. Because when you don't have these type of crimes to perfect and chase villains, you don't have the appropriate people to work on the case, that's a problem. Because in the end, everybody deserves justice, no matter who they are and who they're related to. And he just doesn't seem to fit the bill. He does not seem to have it together. He has issues that were going on before Nancy went missing. So that's a problem in my book. Because if not Nancy, there'll be somebody else who will go missing. You can't behave like this. This is not going to work. And they also said he has issues with federal agencies. Why? You should be glad they're helping. You're the main one that said you wanted the help. So they've come in, but yet you still want to do things your way. It doesn't work like that. You can't ask for help and or somebody offers the help, but then you want to pick and choose what you want the FBI to do. Because as I told you all before, it looks like to me he just wants the FBI to be on the ground, running around, scurrying around like rats, running over here, traffic stops, interrogating people, running data, doing all that computer shit, But then he wants to do everything else his way. This ain't working. And he needs to accept that. And in the end, this is not his mother. It's not his sister. She's not his friend. He doesn't know Nancy, nor does he know her children and her family. So what he needs to do is put himself in the shoes of the victim and the victim's family. Because you pretending to be crying on the news and during press conferences, that looked okay 2 weeks ago. It ain't cute now. Because this woman is still missing. And we have all this he said, she said, with ransom notes and this and that. It's out of control. And as he said recently, it may take maybe it's days, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years to solve this crime. Maybe. Well, years is a long time. We just got into a new year. As someone said today, how long is this going to go on? It's a damn good question. Because just when it starts to look like it's going somewhere, it's a step backwards. And naturally, people have to be interrogated. They may be detained. That's a part of the process. But it's daunting for the family because they're wondering where their mom is. And I pray that nobody else in Tucson has to go through what Nancy Guthrie has gone through and what her family has gone through. Because I would not wish this on anyone. And just thinking about this poor lady being frightened in her own home, accosted, dragged out her house, and God knows what else happened after that, is a lot to digest. It's a place you don't want to be. That's the latest developments coming out of Arizona. 40 pictures and names have been shown to area gun shops to see if any persons came in there and purchased a weapon. And as I said, I won't doubt some of these names came from geofencing and possibly people who have purchased uh, clothing, backpacks, items from Walmart. Hopefully there'll be justice for Nancy Guthrie, because this is a bad situation. During my last live, I asked you all a lot of questions pertaining to this case. I asked you everything from the race of the perpetrator. Has he told anyone? How many people are involved? The type of car, truck, SUV. Will he tell? Will he admit the truth? Will he confess? Should the death penalty be on the table? I asked a lot of questions. Please go to my community page and take the said polls. I'm not going to hold you all long, but I wanted to get this little bit of information out. But as I said on my post earlier today, I really don't know what else to say pertaining to this case because of all the retractions done. As I brought you up a lot earlier, there's information now that there was no glove in her house except for the 16 gloves left behind by investigators. I thought to myself, what the hell are you talking about? So now you wait 2 weeks in to tell us 16 gloves were left behind. So now you got to check the DNA of 16 gloves, or you've done it already and they all belong to 16 men or women that work in law enforcement. So there's really only one glove floating out there, allegedly. So now I'm waiting for the sheriff to retract that statement about the glove found outside. And actually, we have to wait on the DNA from that glove, which I'm assuming that's the glove that got sent to Florida. And there's a delay. What is the delay exactly? U.S. mail not running on time. Today was a holiday, so mail didn't run. I just don't know what else to say. It just seems to be shenanigans every other day pertaining to this woman. And it's old at this point. All this he said, she said, it's just, I'm done with it. I'm just like, I don't know where it's going. Buffoon with the ransom notes, just an idiot. TMZ aiding the foolishness. Now he wants to get up here and act like he's so concerned. He wants it to stop. Should have said that day one. I'm not about to be a part of this nonsense. There's a lady missing. This is serious business. Now it's a week later. Harvey wants to act concerned. As I said on his channel, yes, Queen commenting under the video, I said, Harvey, you're playing a dangerous game. You're playing with a fool. And you're aiding the foolishness. Yes, I said that, and I mean every word. Because as some other people have said, this just opens Pandora's box for some other people to do the same damn thing. They go ahead and get masked up and go push in somebody else's door. And then after they've done the deed, they call TMZ. What's the old saying? You teach people how to treat you. So you're allowing this foolishness. There'll be others emailing your tip line. You've gone from Gossip Magazine to a Lifetime series. It's not cute. It's a very, very bad look. Will there be justice for Nancy Guthrie? How long is this saga going to go on? What is going to become of her family? They're staying in a home somewhere in the area, don't know where. I've often wondered, do they fear for their safety? Does Savannah fear for her safety? I saw a video earlier where I believe her children and husband are in Florida. Don't know if that's true or not. So that means the kids are not in school. Probably don't feel safe because they don't even know what the hell's going on. Hello, Linda. What the hell's going on in Tucson? This is disrupting people's lives. The not knowing. Don't know if you should stay in your home or not. I think this is a low rate bum who just so happened to get away. I don't know if there are other people involved or not. Everybody's got their own theory. I'm teeter-tottering on maybe 2 to 3 because I really don't know. But I know it's not all this other wow, outlandish stuff that people are coming up with pertaining to Epstein and all of that. Usually crime is a little more simple. It's the people that you know of, the people you come in contact with. Not something you said in a news report. That's her job. Thousands of people have talked about Epstein. None of them are missing. None of their parents are missing. And as somebody said, she's not a controversial commentator. I got a feeling this is just some random bloke that this lady has come across, and they took advantage of what they thought was going on with Nancy. She didn't have anybody. And I tell people that all the time, that people watch you. They look at what you have going on. If you're seen by yourself a lot, people assume you don't have friends, you don't have family. You're jumping in an Uber every day, every other day. That's going to be the perception. You're getting deliveries every day. That's going to be the perception. You're getting Starbucks and McDonald's delivered. That's the perception. And it doesn't even have to be a person prying in your business, being nosy, but they're wondering, why is this person ordering food all day? Why are they in an Uber every day? Now, as they said, all it takes is for that person to be on that mindset or go tell somebody else who's with that gangster type lifestyle. And that's all she wrote. You can best believe somebody knows they're sleeping with this thing. It'll be a sad storyline. He's the father of children. Because you see this all the time with true crime. They have wives, they have girlfriends. They're related to somebody. They live in somebody's house. And as the profile goes, he's living with his mommy or his aunt. I find that very interesting. And I'm going to scream when the arrest comes down and he happens to live with his mother. I'm going to scream. Because I do find it interesting, the guy that they pulled over in the Range Rover, I believe that was his mother's house, who Brian Enton went to stop by. Was it yesterday or whenever? Very nice house, very nice neighborhood. Was no projects, no low-income housing, none of that. None of that. There was a nice car parked with a tarp half on it, but it was banged up. So, as I said in my post earlier, pertaining to a certain podcaster's guest saying, you know, this guy ain't got a nice car. How do you know what he's driving? How do you know what type of car the perpetrator's driving? He might be driving an F-150. It might be a 2020. Do you understand? Might be a 2022. Who's to say? Might be driving a Mercedes. You can't say what somebody's driving because they're breaking in somebody's house. See, I come from the real world. So it's baffling to me somebody in law enforcement has this type of stupidity. How do you think people get on who do wrong? If they're out here robbing and stealing from people, that's how they can afford a fucking Range Rover. Might have a job, but they push indoors at nighttime. Stay woke. Might be doing deliveries during the day, but at night, they're burglarizing people's homes. We don't know who this guy is. We don't know how many people are involved. We don't know what type of car he's driving. We don't know who he lives with. I could care less, really. But I'm not about to sit up here and say what he has and what he don't have. And I just found that shocking. That lady said, "Oh, I can't see the suspect having a Range Rover." I thought, wow, are you this dense? Now imagine they go back and pick up that same guy who happens to be living with his mom, I believe, and another relative. What would you say then? Oh my gosh, they live in a nice house. He's driving a Range Rover. Why would he be breaking into an old lady's house? Because he wanted to. That's why. People commit crimes every day. They live in nice homes. They're educated. They have degrees. They're smart, high IQs. What's the big deal about a fucking Range Rover? See, I don't think like that. I know this person could be anybody out here walking. Just like the peeping Tom. Some of these peeping Toms out here who escalate to become rapists, they have jobs. They have jobs, they have girlfriends, they have whole lives. But at night, they like to pretend to go to the gym and take a run. But all in all, they're peeping in women's windows and glass doors. So don't ever assume what a person's got going on that's a sadist. Because every day you have seen it with serial killers, rapists, child molesters. They actually have jobs. They actually have wives and girlfriends. They actually have children. Not rocket science. You don't know people. That's the point. Nobody's going to tell you how they afford their cars. Nobody's going to tell you what their fetishes are, what their fantasies are, what their deviances are. Oh, hey, I like little old ladies. I'm turned on by little 80-year-old women. I've been contemplating breaking in her house, robbing her and taking advantage of her, so on and so forth. Who's going to tell somebody that? Exactly. Probably nobody. That's not the kind of thing the average guy would tell another guy. He's turned on by 80-year-old women. As I said before, this could be a sexual assault. I'm going to lean on that because he took the victim out. And everybody's bickering back and forth, burglary, this, that, what went wrong. Think about what the fuck you're saying. You're breaking into somebody's house. It ain't your house. So why are we bickering about something went wrong inside of this house? He didn't have no business in there. Make it make sense to Queen. He broke in, took off cameras, and he was just going to glide through this woman's house and rummage through her things and expect her not to wake up. Is that where you all taking this fairy tale? Oh my gosh, she must have woke up. Well, guess what? She can do that. It's her house. For all we know, she could have been sitting up watching a movie, reading the Bible. I don't know. But in the end, it's her house. So burglary gone wrong. That don't even make any sense. For the obvious reason. You didn't look like you were scared. You took a weapon with you. You went at night. You removed cameras. You put your hands on the lady. You took her out. And more than likely, he has discarded this lady. And this is your definition of a burglary gone wrong? Never heard of such. He went there to hurt her. Where are you confused? How are you confused? He took a weapon. He didn't just break in with nothing. Oh, I forgot. He had a backpack that was full. I thought, well, where the hell why is the backpack so full? Had he burglarized somebody else's house? Oh no, I think he had a change of clothes in there. I think he had break-in tools. Okay, so I'm going to say it again. A burglary that went wrong? You mean he broke in with intent to hurt somebody? Checkmate. Because in the end, when you go to court, the judge ain't getting ready to go back and forth with you about the backpack, the breaking and entering, the taking off the cameras, what you did inside, what you did with the victim, taking the victim out, discarding the victim. The judge ain't got that kind of time. He's going to read you the state laws pertaining to what you did in that order. In the commission of a crime, you took a weapon, hurt the person, kidnapped them, took them out, discarded them. Boom, 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 boom. Charge, 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 charge. Ain't no discussion. You show intent once you go in the door with the weapon. God forbid they die. It doesn't matter if you hit them. It doesn't matter if they bled out. It doesn't matter if she passed out. She had a heart attack. She died. That's where your extra charges come in. Because the judge is going to say the obvious. Well, sir, you didn't have no business in there. Anybody sitting in the car waiting, you take the charge with your friend. That's the law here in Tennessee. Because the weapon antes up the charge. Because it doesn't make sense to take the weapon in if you didn't have any intent on hurting the victim. And the defense lawyer is just going to say, oh, well, he just took it to scare her. And the judge will say, well, don't matter. Where is she exactly? Where is Nancy Guthrie? Why are we still talking about this lady 2 weeks later? How long is this going to go on? TMZ, how long are you going to keep boring us with these love letters? And whoever's writing them, when are you going to stop? Because it's quite depressing, quite disgusting. Now you want to tell the world you have a burglary charge. I sat today and said, hell, might be telling the truth. Change your theory, Queen. Maybe the person sending these stupid emails is actually the kidnapper. Shut your mouth. And he's trying to double juggle the Guthries. And if you don't know what double juggling is, let me enlighten you. It's a hustle within a hustle. He has hurt this lady. Now he's trying to get money from his crime. Sounds almost like a person who's incarcerated who wants to write a book about why they were killing women. the person writing these letters isn't the kidnapper, because that would be interesting as well. And I never thought about that because they never showed proof of life. So I just said, well, it's just some sicko out here trying to capitalize off of a lady missing. But then when I heard TMZ read that letter today, and he mentioned having a burglary charge from 10 years ago, I said, this is either a real crafty little scammer from Nigeria or India feeding off of the things everybody's talking about in these chats, or he realized he kidnapped somebody wealthy or related to a wealthy person, and he's trying to up the hustle. Very interesting. But as I've said, no matter the motive, the end game is the same. You took something that didn't belong to you, and you're going to have to stand account. You're going to have to stand account. Nobody's going to care about coulda, woulda, shoulda. I didn't mean to hurt her. I panicked. That's why I took her out and got rid of her. Doesn't matter. You didn't have any business in her house. And that's the bottom line. I was watching a video earlier today where this lady was showing a house belonging to her dad in Arizona. And it was a nice little house, nice little area. And you know, Queen was thinking about Nancy the whole time watching this little short video. And I just was listening to the woman talk about how frugal her dad lives. Because that's the title of the video. And it was amazing to me how bold she was to be showing this man's house and his personal business. Stay woke, everybody. You are walking through someone's house showing every damn room, how many shirts dad has hanging in the closet, panning outside, front of the house, panning outside, big old backyard. I mean, huge. And I had to sit here and think about what I was watching. Hey, Penn. And I wasn't dwelling on it at the time, but my mind was in rotation. This woman is a fool. This woman is a fool. There's a whole human missing out there. And you're sitting here giving a fucking tour of your daddy's house and showing his personal life and his business. Take that fucking video down. Take it down. Take that video down. You have no right to be showing his fucking house. Because I won't doubt he don't even have cameras on that damn house. That's the first thing I was thinking about while she was showing every damn room. I said, I bet you he don't even got no damn cameras. And I was trying to understand the method to the madness. Why are you doing this? Why are you showing his house? You're trying to make a point to say what? Your dad's cheap. He don't spend a lot of money. He's old. He's an old man. 2 for 2. He's lived. He don't care. But you don't need to be showing that house. And I know some of you will say, well, Queen, there are a lot of videos up with people's homes. You like a lot of home decor shows. I do. And yes, a lot of people have videos up showing their homes, showing their houses. But see, the one thing ain't nobody thinking about are the people who are watching, trying to figure out where the house is. That's where there's a problem. Just like somebody said the other day about Nancy. She's old school. I bet you she kept cash on her. Exactly. Because I said the same thing. She came from a different era where people stashed money, put it in the Bible, cookie jars, under the mattress. Everybody didn't believe in credit cards, debit cards. They always kept money around for a rainy day. Something happens, they can just go get the cash. So perhaps that's what this creepy crawly was doing in her house, looking for money, looking for jewelry. Now some of you will say, well, Queen, I don't think he took the checks and the credit cards because he wouldn't want to get caught that way. Well, he could give it to a crackhead or dope fiend and they could go in the stores and use the credit cards. Say, whoa. Say, Sammy. See, there's always a method to the madness. He could easily steal credit cards, debit cards, and sell them to somebody. Get somebody else to use them. They get what they want from the store. He gets what he wants. Even swap ain't no swindle. What is this noise out here? Fireworks. Gunshots. I dare not ask. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know. I know you all can hear that in the background. It's not a holiday, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, Lord, right when I'm doing a live. This is a place I don't wish on anybody, as I have said before during my lives. I don't want this to be the norm. People have been committing crimes since the beginning of time, but this is cruel. And every day I go into YouTube Q, watch documentaries. All the stories are eerily similar. Somebody's kidnapped, abducted, child missing, kidnapped. Somebody went running, walking on a trail. It's all the same. Somebody's mad at their wife, girlfriend. Somebody broke up with somebody. Somebody's holding a grudge. Somebody's mad because somebody's dog pooping on their lawn. It's always something. Somebody posted something about somebody they shouldn't have. You don't ever know what's going to set a person off. What's going to push their buttons. This is why I always talk to you all about how you talk to people, treat people, what you post, your delivery. I thought about that. Did Nancy say something to somebody that pissed her off? Did somebody show up late to pick her up? She had a nasty attitude when she got in her car. Did somebody deliver food and she didn't tip them well? So you'd be surprised what would set a person off. Because this may be, just as I've said, it's not about anything elaborate that people are trying to make it out to be. This old lady gypped me. I done came way out here and brought her food, and she didn't even tip me. I'll show her. Oh, she's got an attitude with me because I'm late, picking her up, dropping her off. See, you don't know. And as I said, people watch you. People watch everything you do. Every little thing. Every little post. All those cute little pictures of the children, grandchildren, the trips you're taking, you're going to the beach, you're going to New York, you're on a cruise ship. Well, now somebody knows you're not home. Now imagine somebody doesn't like you. And they're looking at your Facebook post and they go tell the wrong person, oh, yeah, she's on a cruise. She said she's going to be gone 7 days. Now that spreads around. Now the wrong person has heard that you're on a cruise and all you got is a Nest camera. No ADT, no alarm. This is why they tell you to only post pictures when you have returned from your trip. Don't post while you're on the trip. Post when you're back. So when the people start commenting, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Have a great time. Honey, we're already home. Yes, we're all human, Vicky. We're all human. But we don't want to get to this point to what happened to Nancy. Breaking off cameras and breaking in houses. That's just too extreme. I don't know what happened to her. I don't want to know. Because the thought makes me sick to my stomach. And to me, it doesn't matter if it was a 30-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 5-year-old. It's all the same to me. We're not safe out here. That's the scary part. You can't go to work. You can't go to a game. You can't go to a concert, a festival. Can't go in a restaurant. Can't walk alone. Can't walk on the trail. Can't hike. Can't go camping. Can't travel. Can't be on the side of the road with a flat tire. And you can't be in your own house. So where can you go to be and feel safe? Your home is supposed to be the safest place on earth. The very reason people buy homes, because they want something of their own. They work hard to get that house. And it's a shame you can't even sleep in your own bed for the fear of somebody snatching you out of it while you sleep. Can't get any worse than that. If you take Uber, Lyft, you get deliveries, keep your mouth shut, please. Don't tell anything. Do you live by yourself? I don't. Why? Oh, I'm sorry, I was just asking. No, I got 3 sons that live there. Do you all follow what I'm saying to you? Because you're getting in someone's car to get dropped off, picked up. Someone's dropping off FedEx packages, dropping off food at your door. They are not your friend. I don't care how many times that same person comes to your house. He, she is not your friend. Stop announcing stuff to people you do not know. We take a lot for granted. Just imagine getting into an Uber to go to the airport. And you're just talking, telling where you're going, how long you're going to be gone, who you're going to see, all the things you're going to do. And perhaps you're sitting there telling it to the devil. They know how long you're going to be gone. They know nobody else stays in your house. As somebody said yesterday, most burglars like to burglarize when you're gone. Yeah, some of them. But not this one. He wanted to see the fear on Nancy's face. That's why he had that Mexican hold'em, as they say. A lot of Hispanic men hold the gun, carry it in the middle. I just call it Mexican hold'em, no disrespect. It was to show fear, perhaps. When Nancy saw it, she would freeze. She probably did. Probably stopped breathing too. And he probably helped her stop breathing. That's why she was bleeding. I can't imagine what she went through. And the crazy part of this story, besides the crime itself, we'll probably never know what actually happened in that house because, as I said on my post, my poll, when he gets arrested, he's not going to say anything. He's not going to say shit unless there's others involved. And or he's offered the death penalty. And they ask for the motive and where he took her and what he did to her in the house. But in the end, it's up to him to tell his version. But I wouldn't give him nothing until I was satisfied with the response. Because he owes those kids that. Tell him how, why, and where she can be found. They're using some type of sniffer to try to detect her pacemaker. I hope it works. Is she in Tucson? I don't know. I was hoping that if indeed she is, be easier to find, hopefully, but we're still talking about vast land. This nonsense about the Mexico border, I don't know. Anything's possible. But I just would like an ending to this case. And of course, 2 weeks isn't long when you consider how long people have gone missing. Some have never been found. And that's a terrible burden to carry around, wondering where your loved one is. Prayers to the Guthrie family, the community. I'm sure the neighbors are fearful, as they should be, because that's the one thing people need to understand. this thing is still walking around. And he's listening to everything we're saying. He's watching the news, the videos, the chat. Is he scared? I don't know. He should be. Has he altered his appearance? Possibly. And I'm telling you, somebody knows what he has done. And they're lying beside this demon. And there's no way in hell I'm going to lie beside no damn murderer. Because my spirit tells me she's not alive. Too much to deal with. Contending to an older person. I think most of us know this. I don't think anything that happened at that address was an accident. Everything was intentional and deliberate. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. Follow me here on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Take the polls, everybody. Got a lot of questions. Gonna put up a movie for the week. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live. Please check out my earlier live where I bring you the latest updates. I hope the sheriff gets his thumb up out of his tail and stop acting like a child, because there's a woman out here that needs to be retrieved. Because if the sheriff isn't careful, there'll be another Nancy Guthrie. So he needs to get his shit together. Because as I said, people pop out for the smallest of reasons. And the sheriff wouldn't want to end up in a really bad predicament, if you get my drift. Because karma is a you know what. He needs to get it together. Thank you all so much for listening to this commentary and content. I'll be back with an update when there is one, and I need to also come back with some more breaking news because I have dwelled on this topic for 2 weeks now, and I need to talk about some other things going on out here. Prayers for Nancy Guthrie. And also my prayers are with any of you in the chat who do live alone. Just please be careful of your surroundings, who you talk to and what you tell. And please get a alarm system if you can afford it, if you're in a home. And also set up cameras and alarm in your apartment, because no one is exempt from being a victim. That's my time. You have been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.